Where do I begin?
Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here. So today we have come with the hell is that? It's a big ass dog. Dallas still stinks. Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here, and let me first start off by saying thank you to everybody that was in my stream tonight. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. We argued, we agreed, we debated what the Eagles did. And look, the Eagles gave us a lot to talk about. And we're going to get into the whole Jalen Hurts pick in a second. But first, I got to say this, okay? We all have our ideas of what we think the Eagles should do, okay? We all love the Eagles. We all want them to succeed. And look, things can get heated and get frustrated when things happen that you don't understand or agree with, okay? I like Jalen Hurts as a player, as a talent. I thought that he has the potential to come in and be a good quarterback someday. I have no issues with Jalen Hurts as a player, as a person, or anything like that, okay? I have none at all. But when the Eagles took him in the second round, I was shocked. I was utterly shocked. And I still am. I think I might have blacked out for a little bit because I don't understand the pick. I gotta be honest, I hate the pick. I think it was a horrible choice of using a second round pick in this draft. I don't understand what the Eagles were doing. You had guys like Denzel Mims there, Braun was there. There were players on the board that would have been drafted and contributed this year. And instead you go for a backup quarterback. And you go for a backup quarterback because I don't know, you want to do maybe what the New Orleans Saints do with Hill and use him in that kind of way. I get it. I understand that, this is a copycat league, but you don't need a second round pick to get a quarterback to do those kind of things. You could have just took Antonio Gibson and you could have done the same things. I don't understand this pick. Now, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about, well, Carson Wentz, he's injured all the time and he's hurt and this is covering him. Maybe the Eagles are trying to put pressure on Carson to do good. Well, look, if they're trying to put pressure on Carson to do good, why don't you put some players around him that he could play with? How on earth are you putting pressure on him when you've given him nothing to work with? Look at what he did last year with nothing. Now you're going to put pressure on him? Doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. Okay? If you want a quarterback that can play with Carson Wentz, you go out, you sign Cam Newton. Go out and sign Jameis Winston. Is it too much money? You have $27 million under the cap. You couldn't sign one of those guys? You couldn't sign Mariota? You couldn't sign a backup quarterback? Doesn't make any sense. You don't draft a quarterback in the second round when you believe in your franchise quarterback and he's, oh, by the way, 27 years old. You draft a second round quarterback to replace the quarterback that he's going to be behind. You do it when the quarterback is 32 years old. If Carson Wentz was 32 years old, 33 years old, even 31 years old, and you want to bring in this kid and let him learn for the next 3-4 years, I get it. That's perfectly fine. But to do it now just makes no sense. Now, I don't think the Eagles distrust Carson Wentz. I don't think they're turning their back on Carson Wentz. I just don't think they really thought this through. I really think they wanted a specific type. They want to do certain things with their offense. And they look at the Saints and they look at what Hill does and they say, you know what, we could do that. If we get this kid, we could do those things too. And they don't think of it much bigger than that. But here's the thing. As soon as Carson Wentz goes out and throws 3-4 incomplete passes, has a bad start to the game, you're going to have people calling for this kid to come in. Once again, Carson Wentz is now looking over his back. Okay, this is one of the reasons they let Foles go, because they didn't want Carson to have to look over his back. Same thing's going to happen. It's going to happen with this kid. That's what happens when you draft a quarterback in the second round. So you already hear people saying, and you already hear people talking about, do the Eagles believe in Carson Wentz? Are they trying to trade Carson Wentz? Are they going to trade Carson Wentz? This is all about Carson Wentz. What was going on with Carson Wentz? The Eagles are drafting a quarterback. It's already started. and it's only going to get worse, and it's only going to get bad in camp when this kid goes and he looks good running or throwing. I don't think this was a good move. I think this was a really, really bad decision by the Eagles. If they would have done this in the 4th or the 5th or the 6th round, okay. But to draft this kid in the 2nd, when you have players that could have come in and played right away, I think this has put unneeded pressure, unwanted pressure on your quarterback, okay? He doesn't need it, okay? If you want to say, oh, well, putting pressure because he's got to succeed. He's been in the league this many years. But you got to give the guy weapons. This was supposed to be about weapons. You had Denzel Mims sitting there. I mean, look at Denver did. Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. Beautiful. This is what we needed to do, but we didn't do it. I don't like this pick. I don't like this pick. I'm not here, and I'm not going to bash and curse out Howie Roseman, all those kind of things. I think I already been through all that. I just fundamentally don't like it. I don't understand it. I've heard the rationale of, well, they don't want to pay a veteran quarterback, so they got to get a guy in the 2nd because it wouldn't be worth it in the 3rd or the 4th. I've heard all those things, but none of them make sense. Nothing makes sense about why you would do this, in my opinion. Nothing makes sense at all. So, to me, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. The only thing I can think of that would make any sense is if the Eagles are looking to trade Hurts in some sort of package and something they're trying to work out, which we're hearing that's not what they're going to do. They have no interest in that. But, it is kind of weird that Miles Sanders was supposed to do the 2nd round pick and they decided to not have him do it. Was that related to who they're picking? I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, I wish the best for this team. I always will love the Eagles. I always root for the Eagles. But I think they got this one wrong, man. I think they got this one wrong in the 2nd round. I don't like the Jalen Hurts pick. Not because I don't like him or I think he's a bad kid, he's going to be bad, or he's not going to ever grow. It's because when Howie Roseman comes out and says, hey, we're a quarterback factory here. To me, I'm thinking, we're not supposed to be, that's not supposed to be our focus, being a quarterback factory. We're supposed to be a Super Bowl champion factory. We're supposed to be trying to win Super Bowls, not build quarterbacks to trade. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to draft. We're supposed to win Super Bowls. We're getting players that can come in and play under rookie deals. You use this kid next year in the Hill role. How many plays is he going to get a game? 5, 6 plays a game, maybe at the most. He's going to be sitting on the bench a lot. A 2nd round pick sitting on the bench a whole hell of a lot. And they didn't want to give up their 2nd round pick. Remember, they didn't want to give up their 2nd round pick. Well, they could have given up that 2nd round pick and moved up and got somebody like Ruggs. They could have done that, but they didn't want to. They wanted to take a quarterback who's going to probably be on the bench most of the time. He's not going to be the backup next year. Sudfeld's going to be. So, I don't know. I have no problem developing quarterbacks, but develop them in the 4th round and the 5th round. And then when they develop, you trade them for a 2nd or a 1st round pick, okay? You take this kid and you develop him. Maybe you get a 2nd round pick for him. So you took a 2nd to get a 2nd. Maybe you get a 1st if you're lucky. I think the Eagles meant to do the right thing. I think they were trying to do the right thing in their way, and they wanted to add a different dimension. But I don't think they thought this thing through about how it's going to affect Carson Wentz, how it affects the fan base, and just all the unneeded pressure and things that Carson's going to have to deal with because you're bringing in a guy in the 2nd round. And some of you guys will say, well, Carson doesn't matter what he needs or what he wants. He's got to accept it. Well, okay, you can think of it like that, but you know what? It still doesn't help them. Well, isn't the front office job to make things as easy as possible for the players? That's what I thought. I don't like this pick. I don't like the 2nd round pick. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to start. I ain't trying to make it about Howie Roseman, Doug, or anything like that. I ain't trying to go there. But I don't like this pick. I think this pick was a mistake, and I don't think anybody can convince me otherwise. That's my opinions on the second round pick. Now in the third round, the Eagles took Davion Taylor, the linebacker from Colorado. I believe he's about 6.5 feet tall, 230 pounds. Everything I've seen this kid, I don't know a lot about him, but everything I've seen of him, he's athletic. It looked like he was in track and field in high school and stuff. He can run, he's fast, he can go sideline to sideline, he looks like he can get hit. This kid looks like a very, very good pick, and I'm very happy that the Eagles took a linebacker in the third round. I never thought they would. I really thought we would have to wait until at least the fourth round, but they take the linebacker, and I think this is a great pick. I don't know too much about Davion Taylor, but from what I've seen, the little bit I've seen, I like the kid a lot. And the Eagles need a linebacker, and this kid looks like he's going to be able to play on special teams. He's going to be able to be moved around on the defensive side of the ball. And he looks raw. He looks very talented. And if they could develop him, man, he looks like the kind of guy that, Jim Schwartz would love to have. So they take him in the third round, and I like this pick. So I like the first round pick of Rager. I don't like the second round pick. And I love the third round pick. So 2 of the 3 picks I really like so far for the Eagles. We got 3 fourths tomorrow, and a 5th, and a 6th. It's going to be really interesting to see what this team does. So with that said, I will see you guys tomorrow for the rest of the draft. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.